We have Sherry Renee here with us and Valencia Wallace, and they're going to be sharing some great insights on innovation. Just a few reminders. I want to remind you about the iCore overview. I want to invite everyone in the audience today to attend the iCore Ignite event on February 18th at 3 p.m. to learn how to launch a successful startup by applying the NSF iCore method of identifying opportunities by simply speaking to potential customers. Attendees will learn customer discovery and how to develop a value proposition that resonates with customers. We encourage all participants to go and review that and attend that event that'll be happening. So Sherry, if you can please kick us off.
Well, welcome to It's an Innovation Celebration and Happy Inventors Day. For those of you that know, February 11th is National Inventors Day. So happy Inventors Day to you, which is why we were inspired to launch this particular endeavor to reach out to inventors, not only in St. Louis, Missouri, but also across the nation. We are wanting to make this a new year for innovators, and that we're wanting to help you to connect dots to the resources that are available and actually become invented through education and then also through completion. So it's important that you end up with more than just a idea or getting closer to a prototype developed or even a completed product. We're wanting to help you to commercialize your particular finished product. With that said, today's session is dedicated to affording you an opportunity to hear from the United States Patent and Trademark Office, the leadership there, so that they can convey to you how they are here for you. They're not just the Wizard of Oz guys, something that you aspire to get to because you want to become patented. What a lot of inventors are not aware of is that there are more services available through the USPTO's office than you realize. And sure, if you haven't visited their website, it's uspto.gov. And if you have visited it, you probably became overwhelmed with all of the information. But we're going to encourage you to go back, because there are inventor resource areas that provide you all the information you need. It's an encyclopedia for inventing and for inventors. So with that said, today, we're not only going to introduce you to the USPTO, its website, and the services that it's providing to you on a regular basis, 24 hours a day you can visit, but we're also going to touch upon a new program that's being launched by the National Council Enhancing American Innovation, NCEAI, which is what we've promoted, what you signed up for. We're going to tell you a little bit about that. It was initiated late last year. And this is the year of the dragon for this program, because they're wanting to get it off the ground, but they need your input. They're going to share information with you about it, but also we are looking to hear from you as inventors, as STEM educators, as Inventors Association leaders and board members. So we are wanting your feedback, and we'll also tell you how you can register your feedback through the United States Patent and Trademark Office. So with that said, I'd like to introduce you to Valencia Martin Wallace. She is the United States Patent and Trademark Office Deputy Commissioner of Patents. Come on, guys. Can't get any higher than that. For inventors. And I want to thank her for taking the time out to meet with us to discuss the opportunities that lie ahead, and then what the United States Patent and Trademark Office offers. With that said, I'll turn it over to you, Valencia.
Thank you so much, Sherry. That's a warm welcome. Thank you. I was able to get some of the presentation prior to, and I'm very, very impressed with the knowledge and the practical knowledge, which is what you need, to get things off the ground. You did a great presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed
from you,
it.
Valencia, that's a big deal.
Well, Well, before I get started with my presentation, just set a little expectation for everybody with it. So I have a very short presentation of what we're doing with the National Council for Expanding American Innovation, why it is even in existence, a short flyer that I can discuss a few of the resources that we have at the USPTO, and then where you can find it to build on it. But before I start that, I also want to introduce you to Trisha Bianco, who is here with me today. She is my senior advisor, so she works with me, and she's my senior advisor on international patent cooperation, because as deputy commissioner for patents, part of my oversight is international patent cooperation, so working with offices around the globe, as well as oversight over the operations of technology centers. And Trisha is my advisor in both of those areas. She's also the advisor to the deputy commissioner who's over policy. And if that wasn't enough for her, she is also the executive secretary of the National Council for Expanding American Innovation. So she's going to help me walk through the slides. And after I go through that, I am here to answer any and all questions that I can. I am here to get your feedback, your suggestions on what we're doing and how it can best serve you. And hopefully just, a robust conversation, and we will be taking notes and making sure that what is discussed is going back for further consideration. So with that, I guess I'll ask if Trisha, if you don't mind starting the
I'm gonna try to share my screen. I'm a
Okay.
little new to Zoom, so please let me know when I get up the slides if everyone can see them. Yes,
You
no?
are sharing your screen that shows me at this point.
Okay.
And then maybe if you open up the document.
I have it open, so that's a fun one.
Oh, okay.
All right, so let me share. We're so used to WebEx, I don't even know how to use Zoom.
Oh, you're fine, Trisha. Take your time.
So, Ms. Trisha, it should give you the option of what screen you want to share. It should
I'm
highlight
trying sharing the application window now. Does that help?
Yes.
There you go.
Perfect.
All right.
All right. Thank
Perfect.
you. So as mentioned by Sherry, I'm Deputy Commissioner for Patents, and I'm also the Executive Lead for the National Council for Expanding American Innovation. Can move on to the next. I can give a little background on and please, anyone and everyone, stop me at any point during this if you have any questions or comments, because I just want this to be a robust conversation and be able to do as much as I can to answer any questions and give any information to you. So the National Council for Expanding Innovation really was born out of a USPTO Success Act report. The Success Act report was based on the Success Act, which was a mandate by Congress for the USPTO to look into inventors and patentees, the number of inventors and patentees from underrepresented groups. And as they defined underrepresented, it was women, African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Native Americans of this continent, and veterans. That was the original group that the Success Act report was to not only report on the stats, but also provide initiatives for the USPTO as well as recommendations going to Congress. So along the line here, you'll see areas where you can find the information on our webpage, and we'll give you some more information after. So one of the initiatives that came out of that report from the USPTO was to develop a council that will support and assist the USPTO in developing a national strategy on innovation and intellectual property, to develop a plan to foster involvement of underrepresented groups, to how do we have a more inclusive group of inventors, patentees, entrepreneurs, and innovators, just the whole gambit. So that was the purpose of developing the council, was to really help the USPTO develop this strategy, and along the way provide further awareness and education of the need for expanding American innovation. So the strategy will execute a long-term comprehensive plan in order to do this. We can move to the next slide. So we had an inaugural meeting of the council back in September. And the meeting had an opening session where we had the public and the press. It was a public session, the first segment of it. And we had featured speakers of the former Secretary of Commerce as well as former Director of the USPTO. So the Secretary of Commerce is the chair of our council, and the Director of the USPTO is the vice chair of the council. Along with them, various council members from across the innovation ecosystem. Now, part of what we did was, as part of this council, several of the council members gave opening remarks, not just the Secretary of Commerce and the Director of USPTO, but several more. And they were very inspiring and clearly demonstrated that it wasn't just a council there in name only, but the remarks, and I encourage you to go onto the NCEI webpage on the uspto.gov to read these remarks of how we are going to make a difference, why we need to make a difference, and why this was, on many occasions in the remarks, a personal endeavor for quite a few of the council members. So we move on to the next slide. So the second portion of the meeting was a closed session. It's really where we rolled up our sleeves and started digging deep into how do we put this strategy together. So we had our chief economist of the USPTO, who is part of the team that's spearheading the development of the strategy. We had the council members. We gave a brief description of the concept paper of how to put the strategy together. We can move on to the next page. I can give you information. And the reason why I'm showing you the council representatives is because one of the things that was very important to the then director of the USPTO was to make sure that this council was representative of every aspect of the IP community and the innovation ecosystem. So we have representatives from the federal government, which include cabinet level members such as the Secretary of Commerce and the administrator of the SBA. We have the director of the National
Science Foundation.
Science Foundation, thank you, Blue, as well as others. We have members from intellectual property associations such as the American Intellectual Property Legal Association. We also have academia. We have presidents of universities that are also part of the council, but we have independent inventors as well. We have multiple independent inventors, people who have done it on their own and can help guide us and lead us in this strategy as to what is needed as an independent inventor to navigate this system. We have industry. We have CEOs from large corporations as well as small corporations that can give us input from a different perspective, from the perspective of large corporations in this industry, but also the employees, the inventors, the researchers working for them, and the navigation of their system to become inventors. We have venture capitalists as well, because a big part of this strategy is, well, yes, we have to teach on the STEM, on sciences and technology, math, but teaching someone about those sciences, teaching them how to invent, is only getting you a certain way up that path, right? I mean, you have to also know how to commercialize. You have to know where to find the money to back. You have to know about licensing. So we brought on venture capitalists as well to the council. As I mentioned, with industry, we also have small businesses to represent the struggles there and what's needed to navigate the system. And we also have nonprofit organizations. So we have organizations that represent several of the engineering organizations like National Society of Black Engineers and Women Engineers, Hispanic engineers, as well as Native American engineers, and all represented as part of this council, so that we're taking a holistic view of what it takes to move forward. Not only are we here to make a difference in the moment, but we are here to make sure that our ultimate goal is the use of the term underrepresented doesn't ever have to be used again when we're talking about the innovation ecosystem, when we're talking about inventors, when we're talking about entrepreneurs. So we'll move on to the next slide. So we got the inaugural meeting together of the council, shown this huge light on what we're doing and what the issues are and what the problems are. So what are our next steps in FY21? Well, we're going to continue to meet and hear from the working group delegates, which are representatives from the National Council members, to roll up their sleeves with us in developing the strategy. We have to make sure that we get as many comments from as many people around this nation as possible. So we put out a Federal Register notice to request comments. We also have to publish a strategy. We can't just talk about it. It has to be something tangible. It has to be something real, and that will work to help us to expand innovation. And after we publish that strategy, we have to next work on, as we're doing now, awareness and education, but full throttle awareness and education campaign across this nation on the strategy, education on the strategy as to how do you take our youngest Americans in this country with the talent for inventing and take them along the path of an inventor and through to realizing their invention and to entrepreneurship. So it's educating across this nation how to do that and how to move it forward. So I can go a little bit more detail. Next slide about some of what we're doing. So I mentioned the public comments. So up until February 23rd, so a little bit later on in this month, we've put out a Federal Register notice asking the public for your comments, your suggestions on what we're doing and what needs to be part of this strategy. The Federal Register notice, or the request for comment, can be found on our webpage under a link called How to Get Involved, and we'll give you more information about how to find that link. But it's to hear from all segments of this society, and that includes everyone here in this meeting with me. We need to know, what are we doing right to further inventors and how to invent and how to commercialize, how to realize your invention and how to start a business and how to be successful as an individual as well as for this nation. We need to know what we're doing right, but we need to know what we're doing wrong. We need to know where the gap areas are. So as I mentioned before, as we saw the council, it takes all aspects of this community in order to get to the right solutions. And your expertise as inventors, as educators, are what we need to help make this a complete and whole package. So I am asking all of you to take a look at the request for comments. Just start there. Just take a look at the questions. We asked in great detail, giving some background information, but asking a series of questions that I really hope that you all can, whether you answer one question, you answer all the questions, give us your feedback. Let us know what we need to do to make this strategy successful and impactful. We move on to the next. So part of what we're doing and part of the NCAI charge is for, as I mentioned, greater awareness and education. So we're expecting that the publication won't happen until about the June timeframe. And I'll give a little background of that first. We are taking great care and we want consideration of everyone's suggestions. So it's going to take a while to put together a responsible strategy of moving forward. So we're taking the time it needs to do that. But on top of that, we are a government agency. We are in the middle of a administration transition. So we do not have certain government officials yet in place in Commerce or USPTO that approval will be necessary. So we are hoping, really hoping that June timeframe we will have the publication out, but it will also we'll have to take into consideration appropriate approvals through the government rankings. So in the meantime, we're keeping going with our awareness and our education. Part of that is a series of innovation chats. So it will be a series of innovation chats based on, at least to start out with, our strategy and the different chapters of our strategy as we're developing them. So it will be creating innovators. A second chapter is practicing innovation. Third chapter is realizing innovation and the strategies for getting those done. We also have a chapter on metrics and measures of success. How do we know our efforts are working? And how do we correct those that are not? We'll also have a chapter on practitioners, or we'll have a section for practitioners. So we'll have an innovation chat on that as well, as to what's the responsibility of our practitioners within this IP field, the attorneys and the agents, to further this initiative that's moving forward in not only helping them to make successful inventors, to have successful patents, but how do you build the appropriate practitioner who gets that done? So a lot of different areas for practitioners in IP as well. You go onto our webpage to learn more about it. We have not put up the schedule yet, but we will be putting it up.
Seems like we're having technical difficulties.
Okay, so I can hear you now, but I think I may have lost connection for a bit.
Okay, Valencia is back on.
Hi, can you hear me now? Okay. Okay, I heard you. So, okay, sorry about that. Trisha, can you tell me where I left off? You guys last heard me?
The last thing I heard was something about the chats, but it was breaking up. So maybe we start back
okay.
there.
So I'll go back to the chats. We're going to have a series of innovation chats to learn more about the strategy and educate on the strategy that we plan to put out in creating innovators, realizing innovation, practicing innovation, how to measure whether the efforts are successful in order to build inventors, entrepreneurs, and how to successfully get your patent and be a patent owner. So that's the innovation series. Part of that chat, the innovation chat, we started it in January, and we were actually, I was so excited to have our two guests that spoke about the importance of expanding innovation and expanding and being more inclusive of inventors, of a broad, diverse group of inventors and entrepreneurs. It was the director of the USPTO at that time, Andre Yanku, and it was the newly appointed Deputy Director General of WIPO, which is the World Intellectual Property Organization, and her sectors are patents and intellect and technology. Lisa Jorgensen. And Lisa Jorgensen, actually, in that position, is the first woman ever to gain appointment in that position, in such a high position within WIPO, but particular with technology and patents. So once again, an area that the recording is up on our webpage, and I really recommend that everyone here go on and take a look and see what they had to say about why we are doing what we're doing, what influenced them along their careers in order to inspire them to really lead this effort, and what they expect that we are going to get out of building this strategy and growing a larger, more inclusive group of inventors and entrepreneurs. So I'm going to stop there because, Trisha, I don't have our slides anymore to know which is the next slide. I think it may have been showing our webpage. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the innovation expansion. You can't see my slides?
I can't see your slides now.
Oh, interesting. Can anyone else see my slides?
No.
Oh, I must have been disconnected as well. Apologies. Let me see if I can try that again.
No problem. But the next couple are really good because it's going to be snapshots of our webpage and where to go to certain links to get more information.
Okay. They back yet?
Yes. So here's the next one. So as Sherry mentioned earlier, our webpage our website is uspto.gov. When you go onto uspto.gov, on the front of that page is a link to innovation expansion. Innovation expansion takes you to this page. So it's really easy. 2 clicks. You get, well, 1 click actually, you go to our webpage, 1 click on innovation expansion, and it shows you this front page, which I apologize, I know it's small and you can't really read, but it's the starting point for not a complete portal. That's something that USPTO is working on, but a portal to getting more information. First one there says Demystifying the Patent System. So it's a link to how to get further resources, information about the patent system, about what goes about in earning a patent, the process for it, giving resources as to how to help you and assist you in that process, and just educating on that. Mentoring programs as well for different aspects of the innovation system, as well as the patent system and how to get help there. Community groups such as this one that helps in bringing awareness and education to the patent, the IP system, and where to get further help. I'd mentioned earlier a report that came out, the Success Act report, that really is the reason why we have the NCAI right now and working on this. But another report that came out, Progress and Potential, which is a really comprehensive look at women inventors, and it's staggering as how few there are. We had a slight jump from the first Progress and Potential report from 12% of inventors being women to, I believe it's 13% now. So, we take baby steps too, though. We know that it's not going to bring complete equality overnight, but it's a very comprehensive report to look at the state of inventors, especially state by state and large corporations, and what the percentage of inventors are in their areas. So if you see also a square, blue square has a tree in it with roots at the bottom. That is the directors. It's labeled Directors Initiative for Director of the USPTO. That is the portal to find the webpage for the National Council for Expanding American Innovation. So if you click there, you can go on to the next slide. It'll show us the front page of webpage that we built. So this gives more information about the council and who makes up the council. And this is where you can find, as I mentioned before, the remarks from the council members, from the Secretary of Commerce, the director of the USPTO and PTO, and many, many more, including university presidents, small inventors, independent inventors, small businesses. You can find them there. Also, we have a link to get involved. If you would like to be involved with NCAI as well as other aspects of growing a more inclusive innovation ecosystem, how you can get more involved. There's a spot there as well for our pro bono. If you want to be involved in the pro bono program, we give information for both sides. If you would like to put an application to be part of the pro bono program and have your invention go through it and have an attorney, we can tell you how to do that. But also, if you are an attorney or an agent and would like to volunteer your services in that program, you can get there through that. So there are many ways of getting involved. I mentioned the innovation chat. So there's a section there where you will be able, if you're not available to see the innovation chat live, we will have recordings of each innovation chat. Featured events, so events where we will be sharing, educating more on intellectual property, as well as expanding innovation and the efforts to really promote and to have all aspects of our community adopt the strategy. Those events will show up there. And I also encourage, if there are events that you have that are public events that others can share in, to please let us know. You can send it to our NCAI mailbox to know, send it to us, and we can put it up for anyone who goes on to USPTO webpage can see and know that they can participate. Past events such as our inaugural meeting and giving more information about that, as well as a resources link as well to multiple resources for inventors for expanding innovation. As I mentioned before, this program that we're running is from the very beginning to complete to fruition. So at the age of 4 and 5, what does a child need to become inquisitive, become knowledgeable about the sciences and technology, knowledgeable not only about that, but knowledgeable about entrepreneurship and innovation as a whole, starting from the very beginning. And at every stage of that individual's life, what do they need to know? How do they need to know it in order to grow into inventors, entrepreneurs, to realize that, to start a small business? So that's the gamut. It's huge. We have a huge task ahead of us, but we're not shying away from it. And as I mentioned before, we need you to help us get there. So I believe, do we have another
Valencia, before
slide?
you move on,
Yes.
did I hear you correctly that in regards to the council that you are looking that individual inventors could actually become part of the council? Is that what you said?
So at this point, we're not adding more people to the council. That is something that, as we're transitioning into administration, we would have to have the Secretary of Commerce as the chair, as well as the director of USPTO in place in order to do that. But we will be entertaining, yes, adding more people to the council. But we also have a working group of, as I mentioned, roll up their sleeves, give us your ideas, a group to help us develop the strategy and develop new initiatives moving forward to better educate. So we also do
Can I just add one thing?
make,
We actually
yes, yes.
do have 2 independent inventors that are council members
Actually, we
already.
have, yeah, we have 2
We have
independent
2.
inventors on our council. We have a small business owner who is actually
Yes.
is a professor at Rutgers University in New Jersey who started with his students um, uh, their invention, really developing it into a small business. So yes, we
Yes.
do have those representatives, but we will be at a future date looking
But
to expand on
the
the
thing
council.
about them, which is good
Mhm.
that you have them on the council, is that they're successful already. They've completed
Yes,
their
they are.
invention. So I was
Yes.
hoping to hear you say that you were opening the doors for unsuccessful inventors to give you the vital information you need to tell you
Mhm.
that, what they need and what's
Mhm.
not available to them thus far, and some of the challenges that they face. So not that you
So
can't
that's a
do
yeah,
that, but I'm thinking that that's who you should, and it should not just be
yeah,
2. It should be like 3
yeah.
or 4 from
Well,
different.
so I get what you're saying there.
Right.
The council, we have to keep to a smaller number because once it gets larger and larger, then it's not
Sure.
as impactful.
Yeah.
But as I mentioned, we have the working group that sits under that. Those are the ones who really do the work. Those are the ones
Okay.
who really give us the information. And we do add people, and we have continued to add people. That's one that I can do. So I
Okay.
have been adding members to that. So we
And
have
you
the
guys
working
are
group.
really being humble too, Valencia. And I don't know if you're doing
Mhm.
this on purpose, but you guys have a really great council. As far as the companies, are you not wanting to name the companies that are on the council? Or,
So we can certainly, I wanted to utilize my time wisely here and
okay,
be able
okay,
to, the people, the participants, be able to ask the questions that are
okay.
important to them. But yeah, I can, little from memory, and Trisha, help me out if I forget. I did
Yeah,
mention
what?
universities. We
Mhm.
have the president of Howard University, which is near and dear to my heart because that's my alma mater, and we
Right.
got him on. We have the president of Virginia Tech, the president of Texas A&M, and we also have the president of Iowa State.
You
Who
have
actually,
Procter and Gamble,
we
3M.
have the CEOs of Procter and Gamble, 3M, General Motors, Oracle, Qualcomm, Eli Lilly, Bristol Myers Squibb. We have, as I mentioned before, Secretary of Commerce, Administrator of the SBA. We also have the Director of the NFS and Undersecretary, Director of USPTO. We have multiple professional and nonprofit organizations that include, I'm not sure if many people heard of them, but it's called the 50K Coalition. It's a coalition of the National Society of Black Engineers, the Society of Women Engineers, Society of Hispanic Engineers, and the Society of Native American Engineers, who have a mission to create 50,000 engineers
And the
and
reason
bring
why
them into the fold.
I'm encouraging you to share that, because
Mhm.
inventors need to know who cares about
Yes,
their progress, and the reason why those particular companies, organizations, institutions are involved in this
Mhm.
program is for one reason, and that's to give rise to inventorship by the everyday person. So that's the reason why we
absolutely.
reference that. So
And
go
I'll
right
just
Thank you,
I'll
Sherry, for
just
bringing that up.
Sherry, if I could just make a plug for anyone who wants to read about the rest of the council members and their bios, you can find that on our council membership link in our website. And also, I know Valencia already mentioned this, but a lot of the remarks that those people made go to your point of them actually caring about this
Oh my God, yeah.
endeavor. So if
And
anyone would like to, you can find those very easily there.
and
But
you know
we,
what? I'd like to share a little bit from, I mentioned the first innovation chat, and we have these really high level government officials, 2 of them sitting there, Andre Yankud, Undersecretary for Commerce for Intellectual Property, Deputy Director General of WIPO, huge people. And it was amazing to hear their influences and why this is important to them. You know, I'll just, be frank about, our undersecretaries. He was a white male, but he has so much passion for this, and we're saying we need what we want to represent is the melting pot, right? We want this very diverse group. And a lot of people would ask, well, what is he bringing to this? Like, why is he so passionate? And I asked him that. So and please see this the chat to say,
Right here.
part of why it was important to him is actually he and his family immigrated to this country from Romania when he was a teenager. And I said to him, I said, I remember you telling me that story and that you had very little when you got to this country. And he said, we had nothing when we got to this country. So it was people bringing the benefits and seeing something in him that needed to grow, because part of what we're doing is this is for people who are underrepresented regionally across this country as well as economically across this country. And I think it really shined a light on we're all in this. Right. And what we're talking about, what the USPTO brings to this and what we have, our resources, is for every single American in this country, not just those who can afford to go the path of a very expensive process of owning a patent, but for every single American to be able to take advantage of the benefits afforded to them in this country. But to start that, you have to make them aware of it. And you have to educate them. And that's what we're doing. And that's what this strategy is to make sure that everybody is aware of the benefits and where you can go to get support, where you can go to get money to make it happen. Someone gave me a quote the other day that I just loved. He said, talent is evenly distributed across this country, but oh shoot, now I can't remember.
I think it was,
but
opportunities are not.
But thank you. Talent is evenly distributed across this country, but opportunities are not. And that's what we need to change. That's what we need to change. So thank you. I know I kind of went off on a tangent with that one, but it's just so profound that everyone has something, a reason to be passionate about this. And if you have a reason, or just because you want to make sure that our individuals of this country are receiving what they deserve and that our nation stays economically healthy and that we are the leaders in IP of this world, then you take part in this and you be part of it. And whether it doesn't matter what side you're on, be part of this moment in what we're doing that will grow the roots, that will allow the people coming after us to not have to say, well, I don't know what a patent is. What exactly is that? People with that spark of talent in any arena that deserves a patent will have the knowledge of how to realize their dream.
And Sherry,
what took you guys so long?
Sherry, to your point about the people who maybe have some things that they could share that didn't work. That is why we were looking for comments. And so you can get to that link for the request for comment right off our webpage here. I'll also send it to you in an email after we're done.
Yes.
If that's easier. But that would be a way for everyone to share those types of stories. Oh, excuse me.
Trisha,
for anything.
I know that with the video that will be posted on the Scandalera Center YouTube page, you guys can update that particular website with a comment too. So if you have certain links that you want to post or certain events associated with the program, please make sure that's one of the best ways to make it known. And then of course,
absolutely,
through our organization, we'll make sure that we share the information with Inventors. We have another inventor, president of an Inventors Association online as well from Illinois. So we'll be happy to share that information. But if you want that public presence outside of USPTO, just know that you can visit the Scandalera Center website.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Yes, we will. So as Trisha was mentioning, so we have a mailbox, we have the NCAI mailbox, we have links here that you can get to them. We want to hear from everyone. And whether you can tune into one of our info chats, because part of the innovation chat will be a presentation on the topic up front, but then it will be open to the public, and we will be opening up the lines to get questions, comments on a particular topic from the general public as well. So we want everyone to be part of this.
Excellent.
So we will have links, and yes, please send us everything. If there's if you're not successful for whatever reason, we want to know. We want to know where the gap happened. We want to know what was it. We really want to know, because it's got to go in this strategy. And I promise you, I have the tenacity that this strategy will be adopted in every corner of this nation.
Excellent.
And it will be successful and impactful. And I need to know what you want me to put in it.
Excellent.
Okay. And I think we have one more. So this is the NCAI website. So we will be sending this on to Sherry to share, as well as our social media, hashtag expanding American innovation. We also have a page, and if you could bring it up, Trisha, on some of the resources in the USPTO. So the page is something, it's your preview for us, because we were thinking, as Sherry gave us, these very inspiring ideas of having that one portal, right? Of how do you find the information you need and not have it scattered and have to pull your hair out trying to figure out where it is. So we're going to start small. On our webpage that you just saw, we will have a link to resources that also link to where they are. We'll just quickly give you a sneak preview of some of the things that will be on it, but we're going to constantly work on it across all the different areas of the USPTO that have education and awareness programs in how to be an inventor, how to go through the patent system, how to be an entrepreneur. So we're building that, and we're going to keep building on it. So we will send this to you as soon as we've gotten it approved through our chain of executives, so that you'll have it, but it'll also be on the webpage that we showed you earlier. And it's about inventor and entrepreneur resources. This will tell you exactly what they are and the link to find it. It'll be some step-by-step facts on what you need to know about patents and about navigating the system. And if you scroll down a little bit more,
let's just, if I could just let them know one before you get this. If you are ever on our webpage, this is what it looks like on top. If you go to learning and resources, it'll take you over to this screen, invent by inventor, resources by state. And most of this information comes from there. So even though it might take a bit to get this cleared, it's already there for you, but I know it's hidden a bit. So, but I'll scroll down now.
So the Inventor Assistance Center, it's where an inventor goes. It's where actually we have seasoned attorneys in intellectual property who call this number as well to help answer any questions along the process. If you are a pro se inventor and you are prosecuting your application yourself, it gives you, this is a call center that will stand on the line with you and tell you, okay, this is what that office action you just got, what it means, and how to navigate through it. We also actually have a pro se, 2 pro se art units that are dedicated to pro se applicants to help them to prosecute their applications as well.
Really?
Yeah. Yes. Yes, there are quite a few. It's just, as you said, it's navigating that very very complex web page to try and find information. We're trying to work on making sure that it's a lot easier to find. We have, as I mentioned earlier,
some art, some clip art or something that, and that's how I design my slides for visual learners and also readers. But I think that when you're forcing individuals to read text, and we talk about the different levels, whether you're in 5th grade or 11th grade or senior citizen with poor vision, whatever that may be, if you can keep that in mind as you're developing the website, so people can just click and go. And the information is
Good.
right.
That's a great idea. Yes. Thank you. That's a great idea. Yes, we will add that in. So we have the pro bono program. We have a certified law school clinic program. There are tutorials on how to file an application without an attorney. And whether you have an attorney or not, whether you're pro se or you have an attorney, I really recommend going on and taking a look there, because if you don't know at least the high levels of the patent system yourself, it's harder for you to understand what your attorney, your representative is trying to share with you. So I'll tell you, sorry, going off on another tangent. As a patent examiner, I started at the USPTO as a great first level patent examiner. I went through law school when I was there. I decided I did not want to leave the office. I wanted to stay and utilize my law degree at the office. And I can't tell you how many people I went to school with said, why aren't you jumping to a law firm? So, well, for one, I love the USPTO. I love our mission of public service. I said, but on top of that, how do you go wrong with having a law degree and knowing how to protect your rights? Doesn't matter. And it's the same thing here. It's the same thing here, right? Whether you have an attorney or an agent or not, find out as much as you can about the patent system so you can better understand what your representative is saying to you. So if we could scroll down some more, we have, well, there are patent and trademark research centers that help with the searching aspect, and there's resources there. So this link will take you to those where they are around the country, but there are resources in every PTRC that will be able to assist and help. And they put on programs and educational programs in each of those PTRCs around the country as well. There are training opportunities. If we scroll down a little bit more, we have a program called VILT. I'm going to talk about the next one first, the stakeholder training on examination, practice, and procedure. It's a 3-day course. We have a course for agents and attorneys who want to understand better from the USPTO's point of view, the process and system, how to best navigate through the practice of examination of an application through fruition to a patent. But we also have an Inventors 3-day course. So from the Inventors point of view, this is what the system looks like, and this is what you need to do to navigate from the point of view of an examiner to let you know, this is what we do, why we do it. Once again, whether you have an attorney or not, that knowledge is invaluable in order to navigate the system. But not everyone can take off 3 days in a row from whatever they're doing, their job, to do it. So we have above that the virtual instructor-led training, which are shorter training sessions. They're open to the public, and they take different chapters of that 3-day course and really just go chapter by chapter, training and teaching in the same manner. This is the examination process, and for you, the inventor or the small business owner who's trying to learn how to navigate the system, teaching them virtually to do it, because we know not everyone can take off 3 days just to listen to us. Whether they want to or not, it's just, not necessarily a practical thing.
It's not.
So this is a series.
This is not something.
I'm sorry?
Made available online to just you record the 3-day course,
This-
full-day courses.
So that's a great question. The built ones are done that way, and they're recorded so you can see them. The step ones, it's multiple aspects of what makes it a benefit on coming to campus and doing it there, because you have one-on-one time. It's not just instructor-led on each of the modules, but it's one-on-one time. It's some coaching time individually. It's learning like this of the resources that are available in partly classroom setting, but partly one-on-one setting to get that information. So it really is, it's a well put together program. It's one that I'm really proud of. And if you can get 3 days to do it, I highly recommend doing that. We have started, and of course, pandemic is slowing all of these things up, but when we can meet in person. We have them at more than just headquarters. We have regional offices, 4 regional offices. So we have the STEP courses in regional offices as well that might make it a little bit easier to get to and take. But this is a very small list right now of what we offer through the USPTO, and we're going to keep building on it. But as we build on it, we will absolutely have it on our webpage. The webpage that you saw earlier will have a link to all that you see here, and more so from there. And really took what you told us to heart, Sherry, about figuring out how to put that portal together and make it a lot easier. So here are some of the other programs. We have a summer program for teachers on learning more about STEM and intellectual property and educating themselves, but also educating them on how to educate their students. And several other, we have a YouTube channel where you can get more information. We have a kids page because, as I mentioned, it's from seed to fruit. That's what a friend of mine mentioned to me. That's what we're looking at for the inventor and the entrepreneur. So,
Valencia,
please.
Learn about this kids page. Are you able to gain information about the amount of traffic on the page and how effective the outreach has been?
So, that's a great question. We have another division, but actually the person over it actually is part of our strategy team as well, who can probably give more information. We'll go back and ask about that. So there's a lot of publicizing, and we have people in our networks and links who give this information. It's on multiple web pages, which is part of what you're saying in the issue, multiple web pages within our USPTO.gov. But we have a huge network of getting the word out, and now this is part of our network, and we will start giving more and more information about the different programs and how to tap into them.
And the reason why I ask is that there are a tremendous number of elementary schools, middle schools, high schools that have invested a lot of time and energy into STEM programs that are geared around innovation specifically.
Yes.
And I'm just wondering if they are even aware of it. They have a program here called the Spark program in St. Louis that works, it's dedicated to innovation for high school students. And I'm wondering if they know about it. And then we also have educators who are entrepreneurs, edupreneurs, who are very interested in bringing their products to market. Some of them don't even realize they have products to bring to market, but their learning materials and things like that could be brought to market, and they know nothing about your edupreneur program in the summer. And it's like, how can they?
Yes. Yes. So we have a women's symposium as well that goes into and it's open to everyone. It's the women's symposium. Yes, it is, but men are definitely welcome to attend as well. That goes into the how to move into being an entrepreneur and different avenues for getting support and money for that. But yes, as you were saying, our summer program is the Invention Con that brings attorneys, venture capitalists, educators, a whole gamut of what you need in order to become an inventor, own a patent, and then realize, your invention as a product and commercializing. And we will, yes, we need to work harder at spreading the word, and that's part of what we're doing. And as you mentioned, I'll say it one more time, making sure there's a way that you can go and try and find everything you need in one spot and not have to pick and peck.
Right.
So, but we will, as soon as this is approved, we will send our cheat sheet to you as well, so that you have the links and you can share that with everyone as well. So that's the presentation. I said I was going to be a short time with the presentation, but look at me an hour later.
But you provided us with valuable content in as well. So yes, that was necessary. So with that said, you had some questions for us. There are things that you want to know, and then those who are participating. If you have questions, please, this is the time to pose your questions to Valencia, i.e. the USPTO, and also your challenges. So if you have certain challenges or things that you would like to see, how would you like to see USPTO evolve? So this is your chance to pose questions. Joan Brennan, she is a board member of the Inventors Association of St. Louis, as well as Illinois Innovators and Inventors. So she's an edupreneur and inventor for 20 years. There are things that she's discovering in the past year or two about the USPTO, even though she's been an inventor for 20 years. So she could speak to that. But then she also works with 2 different inventor organizations, and she can pose her questions, or also share some of the obstacles that many inventors have faced just the same.
Yes, please. Yes.
Great. Thanks, Sherry, for all those great accolades. And Valencia, it is really an honor to meet you, even though it's virtually. You also, Trisha.
I can't wait until I can get there and I can meet in person with you all.
Oh, it'll be awesome. It really will. I'll look forward to it. Hope it'll be sooner rather than later.
Yes.
I want you to know the kids page at the USPTO has been on my list of links for my students since about 2010 or 11.
Oh,
and,
wow.
Yeah. I have the great privilege of teaching K through 8 STEM classes in a gifted program in the summer. This summer, it's a little iffy. Some may be virtual, some may not be. My STEM classes are very hands-on, and it's hard to figure out how to manage those virtually. But I just want you to know, for some time, I've been using those links that you have to the kids page and sharing some of the things that you have there with them. And that's mostly K through 8, but primarily 3 through 8. It's a little challenging to get innovation taught to kindergartners, but it's very possible. And I've done it on rolling chairs on vinyl flooring. It's very interesting.
And we need to hear from you. We need that in our strategy.
Well, you're welcome to call me or connect via email, whatever works for you.
Excellent.
I'll be happy to make myself available to you. It's all about STEM these days. If we're not going to innovate, we're going to be dead in the water. And teachers need to get that message. We don't innovate when we're at a standard mundane job. We innovate when we're falling asleep at night. We innovate when we're driving the car. Those moronic activities tend to stimulate the brain more than when we are full tilt in the workplace. Yes. So it's very important we get that message out to teachers. We've got to think outside the box, encourage kids, nurture them, engage them to think outside the box. And I have to ask a question. I'm very aware of the pro bono resources that the USPTO connects inventors with. Are you seeing something that encourages, whether they're pro bono attorneys or not, to loosen things up on the charging of fees legally for legal services going down the road here? Because even though someone may qualify for pro bono services, may be eligible for them, there is another population that may not qualify, and yet attorney services are still outside their limitations. So do you see them wanting to change things at all? Do you see them wanting to modify their fees to be more reasonable, to encourage this innovation that we all want to see?
So that's a great question. And actually, that's a great comment for us to take back as to what practitioners can do as part of the strategy. Because I have to say, sadly enough, no, I am not seeing that at all from attorneys. It is a business. It's a complicated business. I'm a complex business, and I'm not seeing that. But that is a great comment for what can they do as they are they reaching out, right? So you're right. The pro bono program, it's an amazing program. The attorneys that participated are doing it, completely voluntary. But yes, if you make a certain amount of money over, just $1 over what the limit is, you're out of the program. So what do you do from there? So I'm not seeing it, but I am going to take I'm going to take it as a recommendation, and I'm going to take it back to our work group to consider that as part of what practitioners can do. And just one thing I would mention to everyone here is practitioners include agents as well. And while you'll have agents, they will have a lower amount that they're asking because they are not attorneys. So their hourly rate will be lower. As with any representative of yours, whether it's attorney or an agent, asks that you really look. We have the list on USPTO of registered practitioners, both agents and attorneys on our list, and the ones who have not, who are no longer allowed to practice through the office. I suggest you look at that as you're looking for representation, but that's something to consider, is that agents are going to have a lower hourly rate because they are not attorneys.
Right. They just cannot litigate or defend a patent, correct?
They can't litigate, but they can practice through the office. They can do through the USPTO. They can do the same as what you would get from a lawyer with prosecuting the case through examination. Yes.
Right. I would welcome your offer there, and thank you for the mention of wanting to take this up with your practitioners at a later date, because that really is an insurmountable hurdle for many new attorneys, new inventors, as well as seasoned ones.
Yes.
Because once you've
Absolutely.
done that, you have nothing left to put into a product to develop it.
Absolutely, yes, you're absolutely right. It's a very expensive proposition to start down the road of getting a patent. And while we do have lower fees for small entities and micro entities, it's still, what's considered by one as a small fee is certainly not considered by someone who's putting everything into their invention. So that's part of the reason why part of this is trying to find the avenues for support and success through this in the invention aspect, but in the realizing aspect of where do you find the money? How do you learn to commercialize your product, and finding the money to support it as well?
Right, right. Everybody will have to contribute, not just the inventor, not just you, not just
Yes.
just the USPTO, but practitioners as well, to make this innovation all
Absolutely.
possible. Thanks for
Absolutely.
listening. It's great.
Oh,
And
thank you.
Valencia, I was actually going to recommend the same thing. I think I mentioned this to you when we talked yesterday, that there should be some type of consideration about what that, if the pro bono program should only be made available to poverty-stricken individuals, as opposed to perhaps raising the bar a little bit so that it's not at the income of, I don't know, 29, 35,000, whatever that is, and maybe go up to the 60,000, and then maybe a window between 60 to 70,000, whatever that amount would be, and maybe offer 50% off of pro bono services. But that would be a means to do it, because most people are turned off by the idea of inventing because of the cost that they have heard about, not that they know about, but they heard about. It takes $10,000 for a patent, $50,000 for production. They don't know about all these resources that are available. And also, as far as everyone's wanting to create an innovation ecosystem and have a maker space here and a tech support system there. And they're like 20 miles, 30 miles away, 15 miles. And the thing is, the average person doesn't know to go to these different places to seek out those services. So any innovation community would benefit from a centralized location where there's a one-stop shop for inventors to go to. They know they can go to because it becomes a household name, where you can go in and there's a USPTO patent office or representative or students that can answer simple questions about trademark or patenting. And then you can go down the hall, and then there's someone that can offer you graphic design for your concept at no cost or, low cost. No cost meaning internships, that kind of deal, sponsored through the schools. And then there's also, as far as the I look at your council members, and not just them, but just the corporation, corporate America in general. If they were to allow an Inventors Association, a group, to come once a month in one of their facilities for a 2-hour stint for meetings, that would be wonderful. Think about it, because how prideful would that Inventors Association and its members be to walk into a Procter and Gamble corporate office or meeting room every once a month, and how inspired would they be knowing that there's a corporation? So there are simple things that I told you that I was going to submit something to you directly. But they're going to contain a lot of simple solutions that are immediately applicable. And that's how I operate, something that is impactful and immediate, because inventors need all of these resources yesterday, and they can't afford, especially now, those who are displaced, laid off, closed the business. They're sitting on ideas, products that they could actually launch, and they need to protect and trademarks and things like that. And if they had a linear path, a clear linear path with assistance and human resources, not just financial resources, some of them will find a way to afford it if they just had the knowledge of how to go about it. And so I said all of that to set the stage for this question. Is the USPTO prepared or interested in fostering small hubs in different cities, like in major cities, where inventors can come together and utilizing, leveraging your, council to come together and to fund? When I say fund, it could be in kind or financially. I mean, there was if we were trying to give rise to a computer area, lounge where individuals can come and actually work on have sophisticated software to create their 3D prints, CAD designs. And sometimes they just need to be taught. I went into a makerspace and I'm 3D printing. I'm on laser cutting machines. And those are things that intimidated me when I walked in. It didn't matter what my academic background was. I walked in and I thought that was for someone else to do it. And so I was prepared to pay others to do it. But being impatient as I am, and I looked over the shoulder and realized, wait a minute, maybe it's not so hard after all. So my point is that it helped me to, when you provide those resources and facilities, it helps individuals realize their potential. I couldn't tell you I had that potential 2 years ago, or however long it's been since I was introduced to it. So if we're going to help inventors, innovators realize their potential, it helps to provide a facility, something where they can set their watches by. It's a reliable source, 9 to 5 or 10 to 2 or whatever, but there's a physical location. I should let you know that, just to give you 2 stories about our presentation. Joan and I have taught at the community college inventor courses, and I'm telling you, we schedule 5 classes. There's 15 minutes between each class, and we don't get a break. There's 30 minutes between each class. There's no breaks allowed, because inventors won't, they have so many questions, and they're not even moved to take a break, because that's how much they needed the information. We had a gentleman that has had a patent for over 20 years. He's a musician. And he actually had like 9 patents. And he rushed at the last minute when he found us in the book for the St. Louis Community College. And he found us and he signed up for all 5 classes. And he came there the next day. And I was, why, what would make you sign up? He said, I had to come here. I said, why? You have 9 patents. How did you possibly need us? And he said, because I never learned how to do it the right way. And he's sitting on patents that he's never commercialized. And then another woman that was there, and Joan can attest to all of this, she has a disabled child. She can't get out and participate in these random events with random dates and just, once a year. And if she can't make it that year, then it's 2 years before she can attend the next one. So she has to be able to schedule something. She has to know that every day or 5 days a week, that there's an inventor center or something that's available to her. And then there's another woman who was scheduled, and she was scheduled to participate in all 5 classes, 5 on a Saturday. And for some reason on Monday, Tuesday, she couldn't wait. So she started to look us up online. And she looked up our address and came across an old address, and she said no one would answer the phone. And so she decided to come see us. And then she went to the wrong address, and she said she got in her car and she just sat there and cried. And I said, why did you cry? What were you crying for? And she said, that's what my husband said. But nonetheless, my point is that she couldn't wait, because even though she was coming up on 5 classes on Saturday, she needed the information and wanted the information yesterday. So I say that to you guys, that if there's anything that you guys can do, and leveraging your council members and then also members of the community, so that we can give rise to some type of place. And I don't want to say facility, and I don't want to emphasize the innovation ecosystem or anything like that, but a place where inventors can come to. You build it, we will come, because the truth of the matter is we're not hard to find. And that's what Invent Help has proven to you guys, is that they advertise these little simple commercials online in the middle of the night, appealing to anyone who has an idea. And what happened? An influx of innovators came, aspiring would-be, could-be innovators poured out their dollars just because of that dream that they had, that one person, the one entity that was appealing to them. So what's to stop the USPTO for offering advertising on television, the late night ads that are very cheap, under $100 each, and doing the same thing, because inventors are everywhere. With that said, that's my contribution as far, and I have plenty of more, but I'm going to leave it to others because I know we have Don on here and we have Inventor as well. But that's what's really at the heart and soul of it. Not a multi-million-dollar complex that says innovation hub and that kind of deal. Those are fine. But what we found is that over 2 to 3 years of existence, they either close down or slow down. And it wouldn't, all of that hoopla, as far as the aesthetics of buildings and things like that, it's not necessary. An existing building, whether it's within an existing corporation or a rehab facility that's already available, you build it and inventors will come. And that's what we've been able to show with our classes at the St. Louis Community College.
That's a great idea. I love it. And you're absolutely right. And mention the STEP programs. So we first, when we first started, it was on just in our headquarters, but then we started branching out to other areas. And you're right. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be in the state of the art facility. It has to be in a full facility that the inventor can get to get the knowledge they need to move forward. And that's what's important. So you're absolutely right. I love the idea. Thank you.
Simple idea. I can see it now. Facility.
Absolutely.
Hub, inventor hub.
Exactly.
But it would be the right knowledge. It would be the right information.
That's
not
true too,
a scam, not a company that wants to promote itself. And the credibility that the USPTO has is unparalleled. So I could see in my mind's eye a USPTO makerspace.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And Valencia, we're not just throwing things out, because what I'm believing is that the way that you've built your council, there are many corporations, including your council, current council, but also other corporations that would help to afford, and I won't say finance, but afford things that are expensive. I mean, they're outdated software equipment, 2 years old, 3 years old. They donate to a hub. And then you have universities with STEM students that would be able to actually contribute interns to help work and facilitate, so this is all part of what I've told you that I had been brainstorming. I told her, Joan, how when I met with her, I think it was September, October, that you and I had already been working on a project, because I had been working on the SBIR program, because I'm wanting to, try to figure out how to give rise to some type of regular service offering or facility for innovators. So just to let you know that we're your boots on the ground. There are certain things that you don't have to do because we're willing to do for you. So if you're trying to recruit and reach individuals who have a need in the innovation community, let us do it. But if you can provide us with more resources, us meaning all innovation or inventors associations throughout the country, such as a facility. Some people need facilities in order to do that. And if that could be once a month at a particular company, that's fantastic. That's a start. And that can take on a life of its own, just with that simple
absolutely right.
solution and accommodation. So, Don, did you have anything that you had to, for your inventors? He's the president of the Illinois Innovators and Inventors. Or anyone else, did y'all have any questions or anything you'd like to add to the discussion? And Joan, if you had any other ideas, please don't hesitate.
I just want to mention that Don is the president of Illinois Innovators and Inventors, and the group is very different from the IASL. And I would like Valencia and Trisha to know that it's a real grassroots organization, and we sit around a conference table when we have a meeting, and we talk about the various stages of development of each of our ideas of those inventors who are seated around that conference table. An NDA is signed prior to the beginning of the meeting every time, kept on file. It goes back, to the late.
I'm glad you said that. The lawyer in me was saying, uh-oh.
Yeah, right. And we still have them, and Don can serve them up to you because he stores them in his records and whatnot. But we go back to the 1980s when it was founded. And we sit around and we talk about, we have a short business meeting, and then we talk about what we need, where we're at, where we're going, what we want to do. And it's a very different kind of meeting than what we have with the IASL. And we need both groups. And I just want you to know, Don is the facilitator there, and he's been president for quite a few years now. And if I want to just proceed, if he wants to say anything.
Well, while he's thinking about it, Valencia, I have a question for you guys. What would be an ideal, help me help you, I won't always say, right? Tell us what would be an ideal outcome. What would you like to achieve through the program that you're launching? What would make for a perfect outcome? If you launch the program, that means after June, what would happen? So that we can align ourselves, position ourselves to be able to meet your needs, and then also take advantage of what you have to offer.
Oh, excellent. Well, thank you very much. So for me, after June, when the publication is out, it will be making sure that every corner of this country is not only aware of the strategy, but educated on a strategy, that organizations, big, small, individuals, local communities, local churches are dedicated to using the strategy, adopt it as their own. Because what that strategy, as I mentioned, is a pathway from the very beginning all the way through realization of a product and commercialization. So we need everyone to do their part in using the strategy and taking those pieces that are most relevant to their work. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you are, a part of a large business, a small business, an educator, an inventor, an attorney. It doesn't matter. Taking that aspect of the strategy that you can bring to life so that you are making the impact necessary. In order to do that, I have to get it out. I have to educate. And one of the things that one of my coworkers mentioned to me is, well, we personally can't be at every place. What we can do is go out and educate large groups of people on the strategy so that they can then educate more people and they can put it in practice. And when that is done, we're seeing from the age of 4, as Joan is already doing, all the way through entrepreneurship and startup companies, seeing an impact of more and more now known as underrepresented members of our society being part of the inventors community, the patent owners, the community, the entrepreneurship community, and getting their business and getting it up and running. So it's not something that's going to happen overnight. But it's like anything else. I have to keep pushing and pushing, and I have to keep, they say you have to tell someone something 7 times before they actually know it and remember it. That's what we have to do. So that means everyone has to be part of this and say it over and over and educate on that strategy over and over and over again for it to happen, for us to have the impact of a larger, more inclusive group of inventors, entrepreneurs, innovation ecosystem.
Excellent. Well, that actually ends our time. I could talk forever about this topic.
Yeah.
As anyone who knows, knows. But as I want to thank you, Valencia and Trisha, for agreeing to participate in this event, and also for your contribution and commitment to helping inventors further their ideas along the innovation path to become commercialized, both invented and commercialized. And know that we in St. Louis, including the Scandalera Center at Washington University, we're here to serve as your boots on the ground. So if you want to start a pilot program,
thank you very much.
We will work with you in any way that we can to help facilitate that for you sooner than later. We'd like to see that.
Yes, thank you. We will be in touch.
Date.
No, it has to happen now.
Excellent. So Mike and Cyril, did you all have anything to add from the Scandalera Center? Any closing statements or anything? And if not, well, guys, I want to thank everybody for participating. Know that this particular webinar will be online on the Scandalera Center YouTube channel, so make sure you visit it. And other than that, you guys have a great evening. Thank you so much, Valencia.
Thank you
Thank you
Thank you
so much.
Trisha, Sherry.
Thank you. You hearing from us, believe me. And this was a joy. I love this this setting, virtual or not. But yes, I do look forward to visiting you when we can travel again and being there in person and having you as part of this team, this group that's going to make this happen.
Excellent. Sounds like a plan. All right, guys, have a great one.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Bye-bye.